Al Roker is one of the most recognizable media personalities in the world of broadcast television. Recently, however, Roker's ongoing health battles have forced him to take a step back from the spotlight to focus on what matters most, his recovery. In this video, we're going to be discussing Roker's recent health scare. We'll also cover Roker's various other health issues, both past and current. A beloved TV icon. Al Roker was born in Queens, New York, August 20th, 1954. Initially, he wanted to be a cartoonist, but ended up earning his BA in communications at the State University of New York in 1976. His first TV gig was as a weather anchor for the CBS affiliate WHEN in Syracuse. He served in that capacity for 2 years while still enrolled in college. After graduating, he moved to Washington, where he took a job as a weatherman at the independent station WTTG. He remained there for the next 2 years before beginning his career with NBC in 1978. Roker's first position with the network was with the WKYC affiliate in Cleveland, Ohio. After 5 years of serving as a weather anchor in Cleveland, he was promoted to NBC's flagship outlet, WNBC-TV, in his hometown of New York City. Within 8 months, he became the station's regular weeknight weathercaster. From 1983 to 96, he was the regular substitute for weather forecaster Joe Whitty on NBC News at sunrise. And then from 90 to 95, he filled in frequently for Bryant Gumbel and Willard Scott on The Today Show. From 1997 through the early 2000s, he regularly filled in for Matt Lauer. In 95, he was also given a weekend talk show on CNBC called The Al Roker Show. Since 96, Roker has been a full-time weatherman and host of The Today Show. While he had already been a guest host and forecaster on the program up until this point, his popularity skyrocketed when he was made a full-time weatherman on the regular weekday weather slot. Over time, Roker was given more and more opportunities to conduct interviews and present segments on the program. Famously, he's kept the daily tradition alive of giving birthday wishes to centenarians. Throughout his tenure on The Today Show, Roker has reported on some truly historic events. In 2005, a video of him reporting from inside Hurricane Wilma went viral, as he could be seen being swept off his feet by fierce wind. During the 2013 inauguration of President Barack Obama, Roker received a handshake from then Vice President Joe Biden. Years later, at Biden's inauguration in 2021, he received a spirited fist bump from the newly inaugurated president just moments before entering the White House. In November 2014, during an event dubbed Rokerthon, Roker did a non-stop 34-hour forecast on NBC from 10 p.m. on November 12th until 8 a.m. on November 14th. He set the unofficial world record for the longest uninterrupted live weather report. Since 1995, Roker has hosted NBC's annual coverage of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Unfortunately, this year he was noticeably missing. We only learned after the fact that Roker was actually in the hospital being treated for blood clots. In addition to his work with The Today Show, Roker has appeared in a number of other TV shows and films. In 2008, for example, he hosted Celebrity Family Feud. The previous year, he substituted for Meredith Vieira for a week on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. On the big screen, he's appeared in films like Robots, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and The Big Year. Roker's blood clots, what we know so far. Since the beginning of November 2022, Roker has been absent from Today and has been keeping a low profile on social media. That being said, he has made several appearances by means of pre-recorded video segments. He also recently shared a post on Instagram announcing his new program with Dylan Dreyer. In response to that message, Roker received a flood of messages from concerned fans. After weeks of silence, Roker finally revealed what had been keeping him away when he admitted he had spent the previous 2 weeks hospitalized receiving treatments for blood clots. Evidently, the clot he'd been suffering from had traveled from his legs to his lungs. Due to the seriousness of that potentially life-threatening issue, Roker was forced to be hospitalized. Alongside a photo of a flower bouquet, Roker acknowledged on social media that many of his fans had been thoughtfully asking where he had been. Fortunately, Roker is receiving the best possible treatment, and he wanted to make sure his concerned fans and followers knew he was well on his way to making a full recovery. With that bit of reassurance, Roker thanked everyone for their outpouring of well wishes and prayers while writing that he hopes to see everyone soon. Roker has yet to announce that he's been released from the hospital, but his wife, Deborah Roberts, recently posted a comment on Instagram that implies he's not out of the woods. Blood clots, after all, have the potential to be very serious. Roker's situation, as much as he would like to downplay it, could easily cost him his life. Hopefully, however, he'll be able to beat this. Roker's Today co-star Savannah Guthrie has joined the long list of colleagues who have come out to show their support for him during these trying times. Guthrie commented that Roker is the strongest person she knows. Likewise, morning show host Hoda Kotb wrote, "Al Roker, hurry back to us, counting the days." Roker recently shared his experience with prostate cancer. In May of 2021, the then 66-year-old TV personality revealed several details about his battle with prostate cancer. Roker admitted he initially considered postponing his annual physical amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. But he was incredibly grateful that he decided to go ahead with it. If he hadn't, he might not have received his prostate cancer diagnosis as soon as he had. Roker announced in November of 2020 that he had been diagnosed with prostate cancer 2 months prior. On November 9th, he had a successful operation to remove a tumor, and by November 17th, he was back home recovering. Because of his experience, Roker has become a vocal advocate for men, especially those past the age of 55, or if they are at higher risk, past the age of 40, to receive regular prostate exams. When Roker revealed the details of his health battle in November 2020, live on The Today Show, he did so publicly because he wanted to raise awareness about this form of cancer, which affects 1 in 9 men. Uncle Al's gastric bypass surgery. 20 years ago, in 2002, Roker underwent gastric bypass surgery. Before having the procedure, he weighed 340 pounds and wore size 54 jeans. To mark the 20th anniversary of this life-changing procedure, Roker pulled out a pair of his old pants in a video post he made on Twitter. He proceeded to show the world how he can now fit his entire body into just one leg of the jeans. While showing the world how far he's come with such a powerful visual aid to really drive the point home, Roker admitted that staying fit and healthy is still something he struggles with, but he's determined as ever to never go back to his pre-bypass lifestyle. After showing off his old jeans, Savannah Guthrie chimed in, telling Roker he was an inspiration to her every day, every minute. Carson Daly seconded that sentiment by tweeting, "You're the Yoda to my Skywalker, Uncle Al." After undergoing weight loss surgery in 2002, after years of struggling to keep his weight in check with diet and exercise alone, Roker was able to drop more than 100 pounds. In the process, which he initially kept secret from his fans and colleagues, Roker surprised everyone with his rapidly slimming figure. After the operation, Roker told People magazine that someone at his gym told him he didn't want to lose too much weight because he's famous for being the funny, fat weather guy. After hearing that comment, however, Roker realized he didn't see himself that way. While it was true he was both fat and funny, he didn't think he was funny just because he was overweight. Nowadays, Roker has managed to keep the weight off with healthy eating and regular exercise. He's been quite open about his weight loss journey on his Instagram. Granted, not everyone has been fully supportive of his methods. On one occasion, he butted heads with Jillian Michaels, a fitness instructor who previously appeared on The Biggest Loser, over his choice to follow a keto diet. Michaels insisted the diet is unhealthy and scientifically unproven to be effective. Roker replied to Michaels on Today by acknowledging there is science on both sides that indicates it could really go either way. Some that says it's a good idea, some that says it's not. Either way, Roker maintained people should make their own decisions in conjunction with the advice of their doctors and healthcare professionals. Now it's time to hear from you. Did you know that Al Roker is currently battling a potentially life-threatening blood clot? Let us know in the comments section below.